All right. Hello and good evening, everyone. Today is Thursday, January 26th of 2023. Good evening, and thank you all for coming to the second public meeting for the Wildcat Pumping Plant project, which will happen in San Pablo. We appreciate your time to come and listen and participate in this vital infrastructure project. I am Rolando Gonzalez, Community Affairs Representative for EBMUD, and I help with all construction projects from Berkeley to Crockett, which will include this project in San Pablo. You can call or email me your questions about this project if you want. First, let me lay out some logistical issues. This meeting is being recorded, and by participating, you are giving consent for the recording. The presentation will be posted in the project's webpage within the coming days. We ask that you reserve your questions until the end of the presentation, and they will be answered by our engineering staff. EBMUD will be constructing a new pumping plant at the current rate control station facility located at the joining of Road 20 and El Portal Drive in San Pablo. Tonight's meeting is to discuss the draft for the Mitigated Negative Declaration Report, or MND for short, which addresses some of the issues that were brought up at the first public meeting back in January of 2021. If you'd like to learn more about this project, please visit EBMUD's website at www.ebmud.com/Wildcat PP. We have our project team today to go over the MND draft and discuss what will take place for the construction of this pumping plant. And to present is Ms. Ana Lau, the lead engineer for this project. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Rolando. Good evening. My name is Ana Lau, and I want to thank you for joining us for tonight's presentation on EBMUD's Wildcat Pumping Plant project. This project consists of a new 25 MGD pumping plant at EBMUD's existing Road 20 rate control station site. Shown here is a rendering of the proposed architecture and landscaping at the site. For tonight's presentation, I'm going to start with an introduction of the project team, talk about what's a mitigated negative declaration, or MND for short. I'll briefly go over EBMUD's water system, followed by the project need and background. I will review the location and site plan, discuss the results of the MND analysis, including some mitigation measures, and I'll conclude with our next steps. With us tonight are EBMUD staff responsible for the project, and that includes David Renstrom, Division Manager, Jose Rios, Senior Engineer, myself, Project Manager, and Rolando Gonzalez, Community Affairs Representative. EBMUD was also assisted in several technical resource areas by consultants, and they are Panorama Environmental, serving as lead consultant and providing specialty environmental services, MWA assisting with architectural design, and Dillingham Associates assisting with site drainage and planting. The purpose of an MND is to inform the public and agencies of the environmental consequences of a project by analyzing resource areas with the potential to have a significant impact and to develop mitigation measures to reduce those impacts. The MND process begins by engaging the community during development of the project, and that included a community meeting in January of 2021 to receive input on the conceptual design alternatives, a meeting with the City of San Pablo to review the project scope, followed by incorporation of those comments from the meetings and development of the MND. When the environmental analysis is completed, the draft MND is published, which for this project occurred on Thursday, January 12th, 2023. During the 30-day review period, a public meeting is scheduled to present the MND results and answer questions, which is tonight's meeting. If you have any comments on the project, Please submit your comments in written form via mail or email, which will be responded to in the final MND. All comments received will become part of the public record and will be incorporated into the final MND, which is estimated to be completed in May of 2023. EBMUD's board will then consider adoption of the MND and approve the project at a regularly scheduled board meeting in June of 2023. Before I jump into the project details, I will first provide some context of the project with a brief overview of EBMUD's water system. EBMUD water begins as snowmelt in the Mokelumne River watershed. The water is stored in Pardee Reservoir before it travels 85 miles through our pipelines to the EBMUD service area. Our service area has over 1.4 million customers in 29 cities in Alameda and Contra Costa counties. Once the water is treated at one of our 6 treatment plants, it is then delivered to our many customers through a network of reservoirs, pumping plants, and pipelines. This project is focused on the Wildcat Pumping Plant, which is located in the northern portion of the district's service area. This slide shows how water is moved through the distribution system using pumps and storage reservoirs to feed customers. Here we see a simplified 3 pressure zone schematic. In reality, our service area is broken into 122 pressure zones based on their elevation and location, while pumping plants and reservoirs are sized and located to supply water to our customers and provide water for firefighting. The purpose of the Wildcat Pumping Plant is to increase the reliability of water service to a major portion of our western service area, spanning from Oakland to Crockett. It will also increase our transmission capacity from the Sobrante Water Treatment Plant, which is most critical when we're in a drought and during planned and unplanned facility outages. Here is an overview of the project area. Our project site is located at the intersection of Road 20 and El Portal Drive. Road 20 is a 2-lane avenue that converges into a single-lane road before it merges into El Portal Drive. So Road 20, as you can see, is our only access to the project site. The surrounding area is designated as mixed-use commercial. The site is bounded on the west by the Helms Middle School and on the east by a nail salon and a liquor store. There are apartments immediately to the south and some to the north of the project site. Currently, the site contains our existing Road 20 rate control station, Road 20 portable pumps, and a parking lot in the back that has been leased to the apartments in the south. When the lease ends later in the year, we plan to extend the site to the south to accommodate our new pumping plant building. This is again the existing project site in plan view, and north is to the left of the page along El Portal Drive. And here's our proposed site plan. I will briefly go over some key components of the site. First off, this is the pump station building. It's sized at about 40 by 80 feet to house pumps, motors, and electrical control panels. We're also space planning for an in-conduit hydroelectricity system within the building. There's an outdoor transformer and switchgear that provides power to the pumping plant. We will also have staging areas for emergency equipment such as a portable generator and portable pump. The existing Road 20 rate control station will remain in place, but the existing Road 20 portable pumps will be removed once the new pumping plant is in place. To ensure that the site is secure, we will have standard security fencing on the north, east, and west perimeters of the site, similar to what's already there. On the south and southeast corner, we plan to install a CMU wall with barbed wires on top for security and aesthetics reasons. In terms of landscaping, the site will incorporate C3 standards to promote infiltration and reduce runoff on site. We're achieving this by installing bioretention planters and landscaping strip shown in the green, as well as maintaining the pervious gravel area next to the rate control station. These green infrastructure are all connected by an underground drainage system, which goes out to a new storm drain in the street. So something like this. Here I'm showing another overview of the project area. This time, north is towards the bottom of the page. The blue outline is our project site, and the dashed line is the new storm drain pipeline that extends 725 feet to the west until it connects to an existing curb inlet. Construction of the storm drain is required to happen in the summer when school is not in session in order to minimize impacts related to traffic and noise. The results of the MND analysis are summarized in the key environmental areas shown on this table. A number of standard construction specification, district procedures, engineering standard practices, and design guides were incorporated into the project to reduce impacts to less than significant. However, there are still 3 areas that require mitigation measures to reduce impacts to less than significant. And these are cultural resources, transportation, and tribal cultural resources, which I'll talk more about in the later slides. EBMUD standard practices and procedures are designed to address typical characteristics of EBMUD's construction project. Some key standard practices and procedures that apply to this project include project safety requirements, which includes provisions for public and construction worker safety, environmental requirements, which includes provisions related to water quality, dust and emission control, noise monitoring, and protection of biological and cultural resources. Work restrictions adhere to the City of San Pablo's allowable working hours and restrict extreme noise generating activities to limited periods of the day. Traffic regulation includes requirements for the safe and efficient flow of traffic, including pedestrian and bike travel. And maintaining a clean site requires EBMUD contractor to comply with local ordinances and anti-pollution laws and ensures the construction sites are kept free of waste. The first environmental impact that I will discuss is transportation. There are 2 bus stops along Road 20. Line 76 eastbound is right in front of the school, and line 76 westbound is across the street. The orange hatches that you see are the crosswalks along Road 20, and there are 2 of them right in front of the school. Mitigation measure TRA1 requires the district to phase the construction such that at least one of these 2 crosswalks are made available at any given time. The second mitigation has to do with this 300-foot through connection shown in the red that would need to be closed for about 4 days for construction along that segment and immediately to the east of it. To minimize impacts, EBMUD will be coordinating with the city and AC Transit to shift the center line of this adjacent bifurcation lane by about 4 feet so that any large vehicles, such as a bus, would have enough room to make a right turn. The third mitigation has to do with construction in the area right in front of the bus stop. As a mitigation, EBMUD will coordinate with AC Transit to temporarily relocate the bus stop as needed. Mitigation measure number 4 has to do with safety hazards near the school during high demand periods. And for this, EBMUD will be restricting construction truck travel to 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after morning and afternoon school bell times. All right, the next mitigation is related to tribal and cultural resources. And here we will be implementing mitigation measure CR1 to have a Native American monitor and archaeologist visit the site twice a week during ground disturbing phases to inspect the soil for potential archaeological deposits. If they were identified, the archaeologist will follow up the appropriate protocols to ensure that impacts are less than significant. Schedule-wise, the draft MND was published on January 12th, which kickstarted the 30-day review period. Today, we're holding the public meeting to present the MND. All comments received during the public review period will be incorporated into the final MND, and the project would be considered for board approval in June 2023. Once the board approves the project, design will begin immediately in the latter half of 2023 and is expected to take 18 to 24 months. Construction would follow in the year 2026 and is estimated to take 2 years. Shown here is a screenshot of the current project webpage, which includes a short description of the project and the project location map. This next slide, also from the project webpage, shows a list of published studies and resources, including the draft MND, technical studies, and slides from the January 2021 public meeting. The MND is not only available online, but you will also be able to view it in hard copy form at the San Pablo Public Library and by appointment at EBMUD's Administration Building, located at 375 11th Street in Oakland. Draft MND comments are due by 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 14, 2023. In the meantime, if you have any general questions about EBMUD, please direct them to Rolando Gonzalez. I'll leave this slide up so that you can see our contact information and where to find the MND. But this concludes my presentation for tonight, and I want to thank you again for joining us. We'll now open it up to any questions and comments you may have.
All right, thank you, Anna. I have gone and allowed the people to unmute themselves if they want to ask any questions, or perhaps put them in the chat. I'm going to make sure that people can ask their questions if they would like to. And let me see. So I have asked everyone to unmute. So if do you have any questions about the project and to the engineering team?
I don't know how many people are on here, but this is John Elliott. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Elliott. Thank you.
Okay. Just basically, I don't have a whole lot of comments right now. I would like to review everything and then make sure that I get my comments into you before the 14th, I guess.
Great.
All right. So does anybody else have any comments about what was presented or anything that you were unclear about?
Hello, this is Sandra. I'm with the City of San Pablo Planning Department. We will also review the MND in detail and provide comments, but I just had a quick question regarding the cultural and tribal resources mitigation measures. You mentioned that you would have an archaeologist visit the site and monitor it twice a week. And I was just wondering if that archaeologist is a consultant or if it's someone from a tribe. Or did you work with any specific tribes for that? I know that typically happens with an EIR, But if you are working with any specific tribes, or is it just like a general mitigation measure?
This is a general mitigation measure that we are implementing, and the archaeologist will likely be a consultant.
Okay, thank you.
All right, does anybody else have any other comments? Things they would like the engineering team to know or that you're curious about? All right, you can always send us your questions later on if you are unsure or don't want to post your questions now. You can always send me an email at construction-north and I'll be able to respond, or you can respond to or send it to Anna. So so if nobody has any further questions, I would like to thank everybody for coming to this presentation, and we appreciate your time. And hopefully you found the information informative. Remember that put your comments, send the comments to Anna on this project. If you have any general questions about this project, you can send them to me. So if nobody has any questions, we can end a bit early, if that is okay with everybody. Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming. We thank you for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.